Today, you won't be able to factor. It's going to be impossible to factor. So how do I still solve it then? All right, that's today. All right, you're not going to be able to multiply to this and add to this. There's not going to be any numbers that do that. But I'm still going to ask you to solve it for x. So how do I solve it? All right, we'll get to that in a second. Before we get to that, let's review how to break down a radical. I've done this a couple times this year, but I want to make sure we are solid as can be if I ask you to break down a radical. All right, here we go, 72. I don't know how you were taught last year, if you were taught it last year. All right, I like to break down a radical into two different ones. Underneath the first one is the biggest perfect square, the biggest one, not the first one you find, the biggest one that goes into 72 evenly. Now, when I say perfect square, I know some of you are like, what the heck does he mean? So let's just list out, I'll list out real quickly, what do I mean by a perfect square? I always start with 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64. If you're going any higher than that, I'm really nasty, but 81, okay. Now, do you have to memorize these? No. Anybody know where you get 4 from? 2 squared. Anybody know where you get 9 from? Okay, so you don't need to memorize these. You can just go 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared, all the way up to whatever squared you want. So out of these numbers here, which one's the biggest one that goes into 72 evenly? The biggest one. All right. What's the highest number over there, gentlemen? Thank you. Let's roll. 9. Not here. Perfect. Let's go 28. All right. 2 for 2. How about 10? 3 for 3. What's the deal today, huh? 1. Matt? 36. Thank you. 36. So that goes underneath there. If some of you guys thought it was 9, that is correct, but there's a bigger one, 36. What do you multiply 36 by, Matt, to get 72? 2, yep. So I'll put a 2 underneath the other one. And I'm sorry if I'm going slow for some of you, but some of you guys I know have not seen this because maybe you weren't taught it last year. Square root of 36 is 6. Not the square root of 6, just 6. Done. Don't touch it. And then the other radical comes along for the ride. So that's 6 radical 2. All good. Let's try this out with 32 now. Take your perfect squares. Find the biggest one that goes into 32 evenly. Biggest, not the first one necessarily you come across, but the biggest one. So when you come across it, let me know. 22, let me know when you're ready. 16, nice job. 16 and 2, yes. Finish simplifying that one for me. 29, finish simplifying that one for me. There you go. Any issues? Now I'm going to divide. First thing right off the bat, you can't divide the two numbers. 48 divided by 2 is not going to fly. This one is underneath the radical. That one's not. Don't even try it. All right, cannot divide them. What you can do, though, is keep the 2 in the denominator and help me break down 48. Biggest perfect square that goes into 48 evenly. Biggest one. Yes, I'm making this tough because it's not going to be the first one you come across. When you come across that number, let me know. 28. 20. What do you got, Chloe? Chloe, what do you have? 4? I call it, you're 20, right? Okay, 4. Bigger than 4. There's another number that goes into 48 that's bigger than 4. Yeah, you're right. 16 and 3. Finish that top one for me now. Finish breaking down 48. Not done yet. 22. Finish breaking it down. 4 radical 3 over 2. Now, is there anything I can reduce? I can reduce the 4 and the 2. They're both outside the radical, so go ahead and reduce it. The final answer here, 2 radical 3. Okay? All right, number 4, do not try to do 150 divided by 5. One's underneath the radical, the other is not. So let's keep the 5 in the denominator. I'm going to ask somebody to break down 150 for me. Biggest perfect square that goes into 150. When you find that number, let me know. Number 26. Thanks, Jack. 25M. 6. Good job. Can you finish breaking that down for me? 20. Don't have one. 6. Can you finish breaking that down for me? Nope. All right. Whew. Got to do the rearranging. 22 again, huh? Nice job. 5 radical 6 over 5. One more step, everyone. What can I reduce? 5s are gone. Yep. 5s are gone, and I'm left with radical 6. Final answer. Okay. All of a sudden, why did I just start off today with breaking down radicals? Because you're going to have, that's part of today is when you cannot factor, and I'm still looking for you to solve, we're going to start using this, the quadratic formula. All right, and see what the quadratic formula has in it. A radical, which you may have to break down. So that's why I started class off the way I did today, like that. You guys familiar with this from last year? Okay, well, I have good news for you. You don't need to memorize it. I will give you this on any test or quiz. And here's the reason why. It's on your formula sheet, which you get for the Regents exam. So why am I going to have you memorize it when it's already going to be given to you? So Monday's quiz that we have, I'm going to give this to you. All right, so don't bother memorizing it. Everyone see an A, a B, and a C value, right? Those are the ones we talked about yesterday. All right, those are the ones we talked about yesterday we're going to plug in. All right, here we go. I should probably first talk about this word here, roots. That's the same thing as solution. All right, roots, solutions to this trinomial. All right, it says use the quadratic formula. Everyone stop. I want to show you why we need to use the quadratic formula. Why isn't what we did yesterday factoring good enough? Go ahead, what's your A value? 1. What's your B value? 2. And what's your C value? Okay, so my question is, why can I not factor this? Why am I forced to use this quadratic formula? Well, you would have to, if this was yesterday, you do 2 numbers that multiply to what? Ooh. Two numbers that multiply to? -1, but add 2. Can you do it? Anybody try to figure out 2 numbers that multiply to -1, but add to 2? Here, ready? Here's 1 and 1. They got to add to 2. What's the problem? They won't multiply to -1. And everyone agrees that's the only way I'm going to make them add to 2. So does everyone see you cannot factor this? So this is why I'm forced to use this quadratic formula to solve it. Good? Everyone see why I can't factor it? No good. Doesn't add to negative. Doesn't multiply to -1. Quadratic formula. Here we go. X equals. Let's start. -b. What was my b value? 2. So it's going to be -2 plus or minus square root. Everybody stop. Put down your pencils or pens right now. This is the part right underneath the radical that every student makes a mistake somehow. Not you guys. Because I'm going to show you a way right now to use your calculator where you can never get the number underneath the radical wrong. Are you ready? Take your calculator right now. Do you see on your calculator, you have this button right above the on button, which is called a store button. Everyone see that? Okay. What was your A value in this problem? 1. So everyone ready? Take 1, store in for A. Does everyone see where A is? Right above math? So you got to go alpha math. Store it in for A. What's your B value? What's your B value? Ready? 2. Store. Everyone see where B is, right on above apps. So alpha apps. Enter. It's stored in. And what's my C value? Negative 1. Store that in for C. And I'm trying to find the value of, what's the part underneath the radical? B squared minus 4AC. Not the radical part. Ready? All I'm going to ask the calculator to do is please calculate. Ready? B squared minus 4AC. And your calculator will plug those values in for you. Could you have done that? Yes, but I'm a little concerned. A lot of people make sign mistakes. And what's the number underneath the radical? Done. Calculator did it for you. So negative 2 plus or minus square root of 8 all over 2. What was my A value? 2 times 1. There we go. So please use your store key when finding the number underneath the radical. All right, can I go further? Darn right you can. This is why we started off the way we did today. Can you break down 8 for me? Radical 8. Let's do it. I'll let you do that on your own, and I'll ask somebody what the square root of 8 breaks down into. Let me know when you break down radical 8. What's it break down into? 29. What's it break down into? 4 radical 2? 2 radical 2. Yep. Everyone good? Breaks down to 2 radical 2. Square root of 4 and square root of 2. Do you think I could go further? Because I want this simplified all the way. No decimal answers either. That's garbage. Get that out of here. Okay. Everyone see the 2 on the bottom? Everyone see the 2? That 2 belongs to the left side of the plus or minus, and it belongs to the right side of the plus or minus. So first, can I do anything with that? Negative 2 over 2. What do you got for me? Negative 2 over 2. Negative 1 plus or minus. The 2 didn't go anywhere because it belongs to the right side as well. Can you reduce anything over on the right side? Okay, don't tell me the 2's because there's a bunch of them here. The 2 here and the 2 outside the radical. They're gone. And I'm left with what on the right side now? Radical 2. That is simplified all the way. Negative 1 plus or minus radical 2. No decimal answers, please. Leave it just like that. Questions? Whew, 1 doesn't make you great. You know that for darn sure. Find the roots, the solutions to that one using the quadratic formula. All right, hold on. I cannot bust out the quadratic formula yet. Anybody know why? Emma? Got to set it, just like I did with factoring, got to set it equal to 0. So move the 5x over. How? And I'm also going to suggest you put the thing in order. Don't leave that 5x hanging out on the other side. All right? Put it right in the middle where it belongs. Minus 5x minus 1 equal to 0. Okay, before we get out, hold on. Before we get out quadratic formula. Why is quadratic formula probably the best option over factoring? Can you take anything out like we did yesterday? Can you take out a number or a variable? No. And I really don't have the time to review how to factor something that's not 1 out in front. Because is everyone, hey, here's a question. Why can't I multiply to -1 and add to -5? Why isn't that good? I can't do that here. Because what's the a value? 3. You can only do that when the a value is 1. So we don't have time to review it. Not going to review it. So we're going quadratic formula right now. X equals 22. On fire today back there. What's my b value? So when I plug it in the quadratic formula, it's going to become, everyone see that, negative b here, that becomes 5. Plus or minus, I will give you guys about a minute right now to store everything into your calculator. Do not try to plug in b, a, and c on your own. Yep. Yep. Correct. So it should be positive. That's why kids always get it wrong, because they don't put the parentheses in their calculator, and it becomes negative. That b squared should always be positive. So store in your values, 3, -5, and -1. Let's see if we all come up with the same number underneath the radical. Can never get it wrong using the store key. Okay, number underneath the radical that we are getting. 23, there's a new one. Everyone agreeing, 37? All right, what in the bottom of the denominator? Because it's 2a. What number is going to be on the bottom now? Not 2 anymore, but, oh, hey. 1, Maddie, what's on the bottom? 6, 2 times 3. All right. Can you break down 37? Can you find a perfect square that goes into 37 evenly? Me neither. So unlike the last one, we're done. If you cannot, listen to me, if you cannot break down the radical, done. All right? That is it right here. This is as simplified as we can get. Yep.
Say if there was like a 6.
Okay, this is my next part. Let's say it was a 12 here instead of a 5. Done. Because remember, this goes to both. So if you try to tell me this is 2 plus or minus radical 37, the 6 still goes over this. All right, so here's what I'm saying, guys. If you cannot break down the radical, done with the problem. That's as simplified as it can get. We all good there? All right, next up. Solve using the quadratic formula. Another one. Before I let you go on your own. 6, what's my b value? Oh, perfect. 24, what's my b value? 4, so when I plug it in, -4, plus or minus, square root of something, you'll find out in your calculator. All over, I'll ask somebody in a second. Okay, number underneath the radical. 12. What number are we getting underneath the radical? 592. Everyone in agreement? 592. All right. And what about on the bottom? What should be on the bottom here? 2a. 2a. What number on the bottom? 11. Fiona, what number on the bottom? Yep, 18. Ooh, he's asking 592, huh? We better get moving on the calculator, huh? Well, first thing I would check is just to make sure 592 is not a perfect square. I did square root of 592, no good. Oh boy, here we go. 592 divided by, let's see, 81 work? Ooh, no, boy. 592 divided by, how about 64? Anybody find one? 16, huh? Yeah. And by the way, some of you are like, ooh, how does he know? How do I know I don't have anything higher than 16? Well, what did I multiply 16 by to get 592? Are there any perfect squares that go into 37? That's not how you know you found the highest. If this other number here, there's another perfect square, keep going. All right, there's no other perfect squares that go into 37. So, yep. So here we go. It was 16 and 37. So here we go. -4 plus or minus. That would break down into what? 4 radical 37, right? All over 18. We haven't lost anybody yet, right? We're good? Yep, go ahead, Emma. Say that again. What's the square root of 16? Say that again. What do you mean? 4, it's the square root of 16 is 4, not the square root of 4. Right? What's the square root of 16? 4. Not square root of 4, just 4. And then square root of 37. Okay, maybe you're thinking ahead here. I don't know, but I can't. That's what it comes out to be when I simplify 592. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. Ready? Let's go left side. -4 over 18, you can simplify. What number goes into both? 2. So -2 over 9. I can write it like that. Plus or minus. Let's go to the other side. 4 over 18, also going to reduce down to what? 2 over 9, but now I have the radical 37 on this part. Now, I will fully 100% accept this. If you notice they both have the same denominator and you'd rather write it as just 1, that's fine too, as long as they have the same denominators. That's okay as well. Questions? All right, I'm going to have you do one more here, and we'll save that last one to review. Okay, 4. What do I have to do first? Cross multiply. All right, so on one side, I'll have somebody cross multiply it for me. Nope. 16. Cross multiply. Which two you cross multiplying first? Okay, 2x times 3x will give you what? What's x2? I've never heard that before. No, all I want here, Thomas, 2x times 3x. What is that? That's all I'm asking for. 6x. No, you're forgetting something here. It's more than 6x. 6x squared. Yes? Okay. And then what about on the other side? 2x plus 3 times 1. Okay. Everyone see what the highest exponent is? It's a 2. Move everything over. Do you want to move the 6x squared over or the 2x plus 3? Yep. Keep the whatever's with the squared positive. So I got 6x squared. I got minus 2x, and I got minus 3 equal to 0. Probably wouldn't try to factor that because there's a 6 out in front, so go ahead. Quadratic formula, everyone. I'll walk around watching you do this one. Try to break it down. Looks good. Not 17 though. And how do we get, see, this is what happens. You want to go against me and not use that store key. You should never get a negative underneath the radical. Never. And it's not positive 68 either. All right, I'm just throwing it out there. I know you want to go your own separate path, but maybe try using that store key. We're good. Guys, what are you getting underneath the radical? Should be getting 76 out, which you can break down. You're getting 76, and what are you getting on the bottom? 12. There is a perfect square that goes into 76. 4 is the only thing. Yes, nothing higher than 4. So it's 4 and I have 19. Square root of 4 is 2. So that's what 76 breaks down into. Over 12. Everyone all right? All right. Do the left side first. 2 over 12. What's that reduced down to? Not 6, but 1 over 6. Plus or minus, same thing here, 1 over 6. So 1 square root of 19. Now you can leave it like this. I don't care. That's fine. But if you notice they both have the same denominators, you can put it into 1. 1 plus or minus radical 19. Okay, make sure the plus or minus is there. We're going to save that last one for review purposes, so go get going. Get going.